I'm Dick Evans, class of 2008, and it's my great pleasure to introduce Carlos Alvarez as he is inducted into the Texas Business Hall of Fame. He is most deserving of this honor because, quite simply, he is an international marketing genius. If you've ever enjoyed a Corona or a Shiner, you could thank Carlos, both through Grupo Modelo and the Gambrinus Company, which he founded. He has demonstrated a passion for brewing excellent beer and iconic brands. He is competitive, yet lighthearted, analytical, yet creative. He is a man of great character and deep integrity, and committed to philanthropy and education. I'm proud to call him my friend.
Shiner is not just a brand of beer. It is a treasured Texas icon. But it might have drifted into legend if not for the efforts of this man. Carlos Alvarez was already one of the most respected figures in the beer industry when he made the decision to acquire the Special Brewery in 1989.
To some extent, it was perceived as if I was somewhat looking for a hobby, and this little brewery that was in danger of going down, closing its doors, was something that may have been perceived as now Carlos wants to be a brewer.
To look at the activity of the brewery today, you realize this is not a hobby. What it is instead is another example of the business genius that took a small importing business and made it a beer industry giant. Carlos Alvarez started his career in his native Mexico, where his father distributed Corona beer. In the early 80s, Alvarez took the Corona brand to Texas.
But the response from the consumer was incredible. The growth was spectacular, compounded, and then I came with my family from Mexico and established Gambrinus in San Antonio. It caught the market by surprise. It really grew spectacularly, and it then became a challenge to not only grow the brand, but keeping it from declining.
Well, Carlos turned around the fortunes of Corona beer in the early 1990s by famously eating the federal excise tax increase, and he was able to offer Corona at a more attractive price at that time. That really helped turn around the fortunes.
As Alvarez grew the Corona brand, he built the Gambrinus portfolio through acquisitions. But if buying the Special Brewery was big news in Texas, it was a puzzle in the industry.
It may seem to many that this is sort of a creation of Madison Avenue, but it exists, it's true, and it's a real town with real people and with a real brewery. And so investing in the brewery and providing them with the tools of sales and marketing outside of the brewery was really a fine combination.
Now, that acquisition is seen as a great example of Alvarez's forward thinking.
Carlos's overall contributions to the brewing industry are phenomenal. I mean, this guy built $1 billion business out of nothing. Year in, year out, for over a dozen years, he got double-digit growth. And you know, he did it in imports and he did it in craft with Shiner. So he did it a number of different ways for a long period of time.
Today, Carlos Alvarez and his Gambrinus company market 5 brand portfolios around the world, from Italy to Australia. Corona Extra is the #1 best-selling imported beer in the United States. All of that is a lot to brag about for the San Antonio-based company. But if you take a look at Alvarez and the men and women at work on a summer day at the Special Brewery, you realize that this business success story is less about numbers and more about people. It's also about seemingly old-fashioned ideas like commitment to quality and dedication.
And how many times have you been in small towns and driving around and being told this is where the old creamery used to be, used to be, used to be? Well, this brewery is still here, and this has been a great source of pride for the community here.
The Spetzel Brewery is now over 100 years old. There is a special place in its history for the man from Mexico who saved it by using his head and his heart, and in the process became a Texas treasure.